So what's my prediction? Let me just talk about the X factor. Let me talk about how each team can win first. No, let's go with X factor. What's the X factor for Golden State? To me, it's very simple. The X factor for Golden State is Andrew Wiggins. You're going to be guarding the best player on Boston majority of the time, which is Jason Tatum. And as we've seen, I mean, and that doesn't take away from, because Jaylen Brown can go off, Marcus Smart can go off, but the head of the snake is Jason Tatum, and I think Andrew Wiggins is going to be huge, just like he was huge in the Dallas series. He's going to be huge for this series. I think that I said earlier that Golden State presents is unlike any team that Boston has seen in this playoffs, and the same thing can be said for Golden State and Boston. Boston is. They have 7 to 8 people that plays exceptional defense. 7 to 8 players. And they're going to be switching on everything because they can. Not only that, Boston's offense is not a drastic drop from their offense to their defense. Like when you look, Denver, their offense is good, but their defense really isn't. Memphis, they're pretty much the same thing. And Dallas, pretty much the same thing. Boston they're pretty much equal opportunity. Their defense and their offense is incredible. They also have about 3 players that can go off. 4 players that can go off. That is Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and on any given night, it can be Al Horford. Golden State hasn't had to really defend an entire team as this entire playoff run, outside of maybe Memphis after Ja Morant, but they haven't really had to defend an entire team. They had to just focus in on one player, and the rest will follow, pretty much. So my X factor for Golden State is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is going to be tasked more than likely with guarding Jason Tatum, and I understand Golden State is they can't really switch because they're going to try to not switch. And they're going to, because what I know what what Boston's going to do is they're going to try and get Steph Curry on a Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. That's what they're going to try to do, which is the smart thing to do. Steph Curry is the weakest defender on Golden State, especially their starting 5. So that's what they're going to try to do. That's what they did against that's what Boston did against Miami. Anytime Max Strus, anytime Duncan Robinson, anytime Tyler Hero was guarding Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, it was a field day. So I think that's what they're going to do. So Golden State's going to try their hard. Golden State is probably going to try to hide, or they're probably going to put Steph Curry on Marcus Smart. That's pretty much what they're probably going to try to do. Because Marcus Smart can be hit or miss. Now, if he's hitting, it's tough. But if he's missing, it's tough. So the X factor for Golden State is Andrew Wiggins. And the X factor for Boston is Marcus Smart. I say Marcus Smart because Marcus Smart, like I just said, when he's hitting, like when he has 20, 25 points, Boston is damn near unbeatable. Because, when he's going off, usually Jason Tatum's going off, usually Jaylen Brown's going off. And when you also pair that with Marcus Smart's defense, that's tough. I don't know how you do that. That's tough. So that's definitely going to be, not to mention he's more than likely going to be hip to hip with Steph Curry the entire way. You do not want Steph Curry to go off. So Marcus Smart will be taxed with again, outside of Kyrie Irving, Marcus Smart ain't played nobody like Steph Curry. In fact, not even because with Steph Curry's ball movement and his willingness to move without the ball, Marcus Smart has not had to play someone this playoffs like Steph Curry. So that is the X factor for Boston, and the X factor for Golden State is Andrew Wiggins. Now, how can Boston win this series? To me, Boston is the best defensive team in this series. They're the better defensive team when you have Jaylen Brown, when you have Jason Tatum, when you have Grant Williams. You can come off the bench when you have, Robert Williams, when you have Al Horford, when you have Marcus Smart, who won the Defensive Player of the Year this year. They have a lot of interchangeable pieces. And the way you have to be able to slow down Golden State's offense. And you have to what we've seen this entire playoffs is Boston's going to give up runs. They're going to give up runs. They did it in every single series. The thing that they're going to have to make sure is that their runs don't kill them. Their runs haven't had to kill them. Like their runs hasn't backfired. It almost backfired in Game 7 against against Miami. Their runs, Milwaukee's runs kind of kept them in the series, which is why there was a 7-game series. And even though they did sweep Brooklyn, Brooklyn had runs. It's just they couldn't sustain it because, Bruce Brown, they left him wide open. That's not the case with Golden State. Golden State is going to go on runs. And you have to hope that your defense is able to I'm not going to say counteract, but able to keep you afloat, especially if you're up. So the only way that they're going to win. Oh, and Jason Tatum has to be great offensively, because I think Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, arguably both of them, they have to be great offensively, because you're gonna throw Andrew Wiggins, they're gonna throw Klay Thompson, they're gonna throw Draymond Green. We're gonna see if Andre Iguodala gets some minutes. I think Gary Payton II is gonna be back. They're gonna throw defenders at them, and they're gonna have to score. We saw Jason Tatum. I will say this: Miami played some rugged defense, but when you talk about who was guarding Jason Tatum, it really wasn't that much of a. I don't know. It's Max Strus ain't getting it done. And Max Strus is most definitely not Andrew Wiggins, nor is he Klay Thompson, nor is he Draymond Green. Hell, he's not even Andre Iguodala at his old age. So the X factor, the way that Boston can win is you have to beat. I think it's officiating as well. I think officiating is going to be play a part. Now, if it is how it usually is, and officials let a lot of physicality go, then that's in Boston's favor, because Boston is a better defensive team. They have bigger players. They have more of rugged style. They are if the officiating allows that, then Boston has an advantage. If they call a lot of stuff and they're playing kind of close to the hip, and they are they're letting the more finesse go, then that is the clear advantage of Golden State. It's a smaller team, but you also have Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole. Another X factor, I just thought about this, is Jordan Poole. Another X factor for Golden State is Jordan Poole, because their goal is to do not let Steph Curry or Klay Thompson go off, because we know the energy that Klay Thompson brings to a team when he's going crazy, and we know who Steph is. So Jordan Poole is going to have to be big. He needs to be better than he was. Jordan Poole really has only had one good series, and that was the first one. I think the physicality definitely took a toll on him in Memphis, and I don't think he needed to show up as much for Denver or for Dallas series. So this series different, but that's how Boston can win. Defense and Jason Tatum's going to have to be incredible. How Golden State can win? You have to turnovers. Golden State has always been plagued with turnovers. They've always just been a high turnover team. Not usually you kind of equate turnovers to low IQ, but no, they kind of overpass a lot, or they kind of do the flashy passes, and it just doesn't work at times. If they're able to limit their turnovers and able to hit shots, if Steph Curry is able to kind of come to form, he didn't have the greatest. He hasn't had the greatest 3-point shooting playoffs out. Well, not playoffs. First round he did really well, but if he's able to get that back and win the Marcus Smart Steph Curry matchup, then it's going to be tough, because one thing, like I said, Golden State has the difference between Golden State and Miami. There's a lot of differences, but one of the differences, it's not just one person. It's not just a Jimmy Butler show. You have Steph Curry that can give you 30, Clay that can give you 30, Andrew Wiggins can give you 15 to 25, Jordan Poole can give you 30, Draymond Green can give you a 10 10, 10, and 10 triple double. It's they can hit you with a lot of air. And the good thing is they're unselfishness. They're unselfish. So if they see that Jordan Poole's going crazy, they're going to give it to Jordan Poole. If they see that Klay Thompson's going crazy, they're going to give it to Klay. That's just how they are. That's an unselfish team. So they need to be able to just hit shots and play defense, because not Miami. Boston can hit threes. Again, Grant Williams. He's able to hit. I think he's like shooting 45% if he's wide open. They need to be able to defend. I know it's easier hit shots and defend, but that's definitely the case for Boston. For Golden State with Boston, because as we've seen, Golden State can go through defensive lows, and they're going to need to capitalize on the runs that Boston's going to allow them to have. At this point, they've allowed multiple runs. Boston has allowed multiple runs in every single series. So I'm not here thinking that they're not going to be able to do it, or they're not going to give up runs this series. The problem is, or the thing for Golden State is, can you take advantage of those runs? Can you take advantage of those times when you're going to have a 10-0 run, or you're going to have a 7-0 run? Like, what happens at that point? So what are my predictions? So a lot of people are going to say that this is just another game. That's what the players are going to tell themselves. This is just another game. But it's not. This is the NBA Finals. And I do think that there's something to be had where not one player from Boston has been in the finals. Now, I do think that it's helped that, I think Jason Tatum has been in 5 Game 7s, and Miami, and Boston has been in 2 Game 7s this playoff run. But there's something to be said, having the experience of an NBA Finals, not to mention the fact that, like I said before, neither one of these teams have played a team this playoffs like the other team. And I do think that kind of bodes well for Golden State, because I think because of the experience, they're able to make better or more adjustments if needed. And I like Jason Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum is an incredible player. I just think the experience and the fact that Golden State, Miami almost beat Boston with 1 score. Milwaukee almost beat Boston with pretty much 1 score. Even though Brooklyn got swept, we don't really talk about Brooklyn. But Miami almost beat them with 1 score. The entire series, pretty much. That's not going to be. Golden State just didn't have 1 score. They have a multitude of players that they can go off. So I have Golden State in 6. I just think the experience and the fact that you don't know who it can be any given night. Hell, if you look at all the series that that Golden State's been in, we praise Kevon Looney in the Dallas series. We praise Andrew Wiggins in the Dallas series. In the Denver series, we praise Draymond Green for his defense on what's his name? On Nikola Jokic, as well as Steph Curry's offense. In the Memphis series, we praise Klay Thompson, Game 6 Klay. So you don't, not to mention Jordan Poole was I think he averaged like 30 points in the Denver series. So it could be anybody on any given basis. So I have Warriors in 6. I just think that we know how important this is. Well, both teams clearly, but Golden State knows what to do. Even though you have younger players like Andrew Wiggins has never been here, neither has Jordan Poole. But the nucleus, the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, Andre Iguodala, they've been here, and Steve Kerr, they've been here, so they know what it takes. So I have Warriors in 6.